Hey everybody, Mr. Lawrence here to talk about Romeo and Juliet, Act 4, Scene 4, and 5. Scene 4 is pretty much a waste. It's one of those scenes that we don't really spend much time on in class because it's more of a transition. It's setting up for Scene 5. Scene 4, just as the family busying themselves getting ready for the party, blissfully unaware that Juliet has, um, to all outside appearances, taken her life. They do not know that it's fake. They don't even know that it happened. They are still just getting ready for the party because the party is the wedding. And so Juliet is laying in bed, having faked her death with the poison that Friar Lawrence had prepared for her, but nobody knows it. Scene 5, pretty darn important. Scene 5 is where the family realizes that Juliet's dead. It looks to them that she took her life. There's a little vial, laying on the bed next to her, and they just run around, um, kind of in a sky is fallen type of mentality. They very much are like Chicken Little. Um, the nurse, running around, oh, lamentable day, it's so sad, I'm so sad. They just can't believe it. Um, they've been preparing for this wedding. And so here they weren't going to have a wedding. Uh, Lord Capulet goes and visits with Friar Lawrence and says, listen, Friar Lawrence, we are heartbroken. And Friar Lawrence says, well, we'll try to make the most of it. Let's have a beautiful funeral. And so they turn all the flowers, all the bouquets and whatever into funeral flowers. And they they get ready and have a funeral. Um, this funeral is somber. One thing that I always talk about with my students is in Italy at this time, they would not have like American funerals are different, or American burial ceremonies are different. Usually, we would actually do some research on this and research, how people are buried or how remains are taken care of in other parts of the world. We usually would do a project where we do presentations. Anyway, in America, we tend to bury the dead in underground, in a casket. More and more people choose to be cremated, but that's kind of been the traditional way, 6 feet under. And Italy, not. They would actually bury their dead in catacombs, kind of like how the um, um, Cask of Amontillado. Remember the crypts? They would just go in and lay their dead on like a little altar or something like that. And the Capulet family has such a crypt, and that is where they go to bury Juliet. She is not in a casket. She will not be 6 feet under the ground or something like that. She will just be in this big vault, this big crypt, um, on top of like an altar. Um, Now the funeral's happening, and we have Romeo's servant. Um, let's see, Romeo's servant. I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden. Anyway, he witnesses this funeral and is just like, "What? Juliet's dead?" He can't believe what he's seeing. And so he will, at the beginning of Act 5, race to Mantua to tell Romeo about what he has seen. It is some pretty bad timing. But anyway, yeah, Balthazar. So that's pretty much the way that Act 4 wraps up. Just so you know, there will be no study guide. I just decided, listen, I'm just happy to get what I'm getting. You guys have your parental expectations paper. So there will be no study guide for Act 4, and actually there will be no study guide for Act 5 too. So consider that my happy summer type of gift. But for right now, though, we are going to keep reading. Um, Hope you're enjoying Romeo and Juliet. If you have access to one of the movie versions at this point, I would say go for it. Watch whatever you can get your hands on. We would spend extensive time comparing the different versions, but yeah, we're not in class, so can't really do that as well. Hope you're doing well. Be safe.